It's weird because like the later it gets into the morning or the night or however you want to think about it, like the more tired I get, like the more honest I become. Which isn't to say I'm not always honest, but it's like all of the inhibition, all of the fear, like all the anxiety about saying something that may be potentially like damning of me goes away as I get more and more tired, which is good at a certain point. Like I attribute it to like the same sort of feeling that I guess that you would get of somebody who's drunk or high, or like they just get incredibly loose and they just start spilling the beans and everything. I never say spilling the beans. Where the fuck did that come from? But anyways, they start telling you, about their whole life and start being incredibly honest and just lovey-dovey and all that type of shit. To where, so when I get incredibly tired, and to where I am now, um, so in most cases, the early morning when I'm about to go to sleep, uh, I get incredibly genuine, and I become like just more and more kind of honest with myself at a certain point, to where like for days, weeks, months, if not years at this point, I've asked myself, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to make? What is it that I want to get out of life? And it's like, I've always wanted to make content of some sort. I've always wanted to record something, or I've always wanted to make videos, or I've always wanted to make skits, or I've always wanted to do a Let's Play, or I've always wanted to do something in the vein of putting myself out there for others to criticize, pretty much. But was always too much of a huge pansy, a huge bitch to do it, because like listening back to my own voice in situations like this, to where like I've recorded myself too many fucking times now in too many different ways trying to make some sort of video or make some sort of content that people can enjoy. And it's not what I want to do, because it's always fake, and it's always something that's not fun for me, and it's not what I want to do. It's like what I wanted to do is just sit here and do what I'm doing now. Just speak to the ether and just hope to God that anybody would give a shit about it. But in doing it the way that I want to do it, have that genuine, like have that honesty with whomever may participate, be like real, and as real as it possibly can be, because I'm not sitting here scripting things, I'm not sitting here acting shit out, which isn't to say like skits and oftentimes would be acted out, to where like I want to do skits that would be acted out and shit, because I come up with a lot of hypothetical situations in my head that are hilarious to me and friends, and but that's a whole different ball game, that's a whole different situation. I don't have the cameras to do that. In terms of having quality video, I don't have the right audio equipment to go with said cameras, therefore have good audio. Even if I did have proper cameras, to where like I could always record it on phone, sure, but then I don't have the correct audio equipment to maintain that the audio would be the same quality as the video, and so that's why I haven't ever gone through with doing that shit in such a long period of time. To where it's like a lot of the shit I want to do, it's like I've always wanted to have a certain level of like quality to it that I am too unwilling to give up on without pretty much I am completely unwilling to give up on a certain bar of quality that I have set up for myself, which I think to a certain degree is healthy, but at the same time this bar has literally fucking killed me for years, because it's prevented me from doing what I want to do, which is this right now. And again, it's not as if I haven't tried a multitude of fucking times in the past to do what I want to do, which is this right now. But it's sitting here and having like being in this genuine kind of state, being in this like honest reality with myself. It's like I've said to myself multiple times, just do it and get it over with. If you just do it and you start posting shit, whether or not it's good or not, at least you're getting it out there and you can improve as time goes on. The first stuff that you'll make will always be shitty. That quality isn't really going to be there. You can't be a perfectionist the first time you do something, because you're not going to have the fucking experience to have that perfectionism or that perfect idea of whatever you want to do to where you're not going to have the skills to be able to create it. You're not going to have the ability to be able to create it. Which isn't to say give up on it. It's just learn as you go through it. Like this first thing, if I do actually manage to put this out, finally, after years of trying to get shit done, like this is just an example of what I want to do. But it's probably going to be the shittiest example of what I want to do. The shittiest in terms of the quality of the audio, the shittiest in terms of like what the visual effect on the screen may be, which could literally just be nothing, which I'm kind of, for some reason, I'm incredibly prone to, is just having a completely black screen, because there's something to that, to where like when it comes to like if I'm trying to make a podcast like situation, if I'm trying to make something in which I just want to talk into a microphone and I just want to speak to people and that's it, I don't really want to have a video to go alongside that to distract people from what I'm trying to say. Which isn't like, and the thing that I want to do is like, I don't even really necessarily want to make content that you have to watch. I just want to have content in which you can listen to. Like, I just want to do podcast content, whether it's short frame podcast, long frame podcast, like regular podcasts, or just the things people can listen to, but not necessarily have to, actually watch. Because I never did that shit. Like, when I watch things for years now, like, a lot of the times I'd be playing a game and I'd just have something going in the background to listen to whilst playing these games. As I've aged, I've kind of gotten over that, though, to where like now I'm not that old, admittedly, but I'm early 20s, so I don't know why. I'm trying to be like, now that I've aged, now that I'm old, but now that I've been older than when I used to watch like a shit ton of YouTube while I was playing games. Like, now I actually want to sit down, and if I'm watching something, I want to actually watch it. Like, I actually want to listen to it and kind of see what's happening and pay attention to it. And if I don't want to do that, then it's not really worthwhile to me at a certain point. And, like, for me, like, anytime, like, when I've listened or watched things at this point, like, what's interested me the most about people, whether they be Let's Players or any of that type of shit, blah, 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 especially like big name people that like, I would have subscribed to when they were like in their early 100,000s or whatever the case may be, depending upon who they are. When looking at them and like beginning to see what they were doing and seeing like what was likable about them, it had less to do with like the games they were playing and more to do with either them being enjoyable people or being fun people or being positive people, or had more to do with just them as people. And them as like who they are as an individual and whether or not I liked them. And that's the part that kind of like I find to be the most endearing and like the most, and that's kind of like where I'm sitting here now. Like that's why like this I think should be like a fitting entry, like first entry into an R&R series that I want to do, to where R&R would just be Ryan Raves. Except, cut up in such a way that it makes a nice title and people can say it without sounding like an idiot. To where, like, it would be R, the capital R, lowercase n, apostrophe, and then another capital R. So it's a nice little thing. And it's just mostly, like, the thing that I want to do with this is do what I've wanted to do this whole time, which is just have genuine conversations with whomever wants to listen about whatever I'm thinking about at the time, which could be a variety of things. And that's what scares me about having genuine conversations, is that I can be genuine, but how people decide to interpret what I have said is scary. Because if I tell an off-color joke at some point, which is bound to happen, who is to say that some people may not take that incredibly seriously? Or if I say something that seems incriminating of myself or incriminating of somebody else, or if I say something that may offend somebody, like that's the worst thing. If I say something that may offend somebody, that's absolutely fucking terrifying. Because like so many people in the world, like... which isn't to say that everybody isn't, because like at a certain point everybody is, but everybody at a certain point is looking for something to be offended by. which isn't to say that like everybody's doing it like consciously, like, ah, fuck, today I just need to find something to get angry about, you know. I don't think anybody's doing that, but it's like everybody gets frustrated by something. Everybody will be bothered by something, and it's a lot of that's based upon their mood at the time and whether or not they've had a good meal or any of that type of shit. And you may think that I'm kidding when it's like, no, I think a lot of that shit really just comes down to how happy you are at the moment in terms of like, are you full? You know, like, do you have a headache or do you have no headache? Like, if you have a headache, that's going to make it a little bit harder to, like, listen to what somebody you don't like or listen to an opinion that you may not be a fan of. To where it's like being genuine with literally any random person that would decide to come across this is scary because, and that's what's like a part of the problem that's prevented me from doing this for such a long period of time, is it's scary because it's fucking like I'm putting myself out there to be chastised, and that's not the problem. Like, that's only part of the problem, and you would think that would scare me more. And like, the being chastised, like, I want to have discussions. If I'm wrong about something, that's fine, as long as you have like a decent argument for it that I can hear and be like, oh, actually, no, you're a little bit right, let me change my opinion on that. Like, if it makes sense, I'm willing to have, you know, change myself at that point. But it's what's the most scary is like whether or not I will offend somebody with something I've said being misconstrued due to somebody possibly not completely understanding what I said. You know? It's like I try so incredibly hard to try and phrase things and say things in enough ways, in different enough ways, multiple times, so that it can't possibly be misconstrued, whatever that subject may be, by anybody. And that worked as a benefit to me. And like whenever you're, you know, when you're trying to teach other kids, when you're in middle school or high school or fucking elementary school, and it's like they ask you, it's like, oh, how do you do this math thing? And I'm like, oh, this is how you do it. And I would try to explain it to them in multiple different ways, so that way if they didn't get my first explanation, at least maybe they'd get my second, and if they didn't get my second, at least maybe they get my third, to where as a teacher that may work out. And so I guess that's kind of the idea, is like if I can try to explain it to people enough in different enough ways, which sometimes it may be repetitive, I won't lie. And if people listen to this for a long period of time and listen to me ramble on for a long period of time, they will probably see where like I will, you know, cross paths with myself at times, or I may repeat myself at times. But that's just kind of me trying to really drill home the main point I'm trying to make. Because like I can go everywhere. You know, I can go off on a variety of different subjects, as I'm sure I have in, you know, this discussion alone, to where it's like the main point of this whole discussion here is generosity. And if I've said anything that could seem as if I have gone off that track of being genuine and wanting to make content and making content that is genuine, so that people who want genuine shit can listen to it from somebody who's trying to be genuine to them, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. And frankly, that's just how I talk sometimes, is I talk about a lot of different subjects and how they all interconnect and how they all relate to one another. And all of them may not actually add that much to the original point. Hopefully they add at least a little bit, but at the end of the day, they all kind of come together to have this kind of weave together conversation that I will have, that hopefully some people may find a little bit entertaining. But either way, I guess this is really just an introduction to me hopefully starting to like actually create the things that I hope people actually want to give a shit about. And the thing that I will always have to remind myself, and like what I want to make here, is just genuine content. Like, it's not, I don't want to make shit that people can find somewhere else. I want to make shit that comes from me, meaning you can't find it anywhere else, because it's mine. Like, I made it. It's my opinion. It's how I feel about it. It's all that type of shit. Because, like, I think that's what people value more than, like, the fake, you know, acted out, skit-based, written things, to where it's like, I think people value stories that feel real and people that feel real and those circumstances a lot more. I'm getting a little bit belchy, but that's besides the point. The point being, it's like, I hope this is something I can do and people care. And I hope that I can, like, actually remember what it is that, like, I've said here which I will probably have to come back to this multiple times to remind myself that, like, what you want to do, Ryan, what you want to do is make something that's genuine consistently, which can be about a variety of different subjects. And that's another fear that I have when it comes to this, like, this trying to start this venture, and what's prevented me from doing for such a long period of time is, which I kind of covered with the trying not to offend people, to where it's like, I may cover a lot of different subjects. I may cover things politically. I may cover things, and like that's the worst subject to cover, right? Is politics, um, because that's so polarizing. To where like I may cover politics at times, and if you don't agree with my opinions, that's fine. And the thing is that I would ask in that situation is just like try your best to, in spite of potentially not agreeing with me, try your best to just kind of give me the benefit of the doubt. And even if you disagree, that's okay. Like, and even if I like say something that you don't agree with, know that I'm not attacking you as an individual. Know that I'm not attacking you as a person or any of that type of shit. I would never try to attack individuals or people as like in that way. It's mostly just like I'm attacking their arguments. To where, like, and if I'm saying something that you don't agree with, feel free to, call me out on it and we can have that discussion. I want that to happen. I enjoy having those discussions. But it's one of those things of like, that's part of what I'm afraid of, is if I create things that not everybody would be interested in, regardless of its generosity or its, its genuineness or its honesty, to where it's like, I may do things politically, or say things that I want to talk about politically, or I may say things about video games that I want to talk about when it comes to video games, or I may say things about, a variety of, pretty much it comes down to like, the reason I would find it to be so genuine, the stuff that I want to make, is because it's all stuff that I care about, and it's all stuff that I wanted to talk about at the time, and it's all things that I think you, as a viewer or as a listener or whatever you want to call yourself, a citizen of a city, whatever the case may be, as somebody who would sit here and potentially listen to what I have to say and whatever comes out of my dumb mouth, whether or not all of those subjects may be interesting to you, which they may not be. And that's okay. And even if they're not, like, I hope that I can explain them in such a way that they may be interesting at the end of the day. Like, that's the one thing that, like, I enjoy talking. And I've known this for a while. I've just never known how to turn it into something I want to do until hopefully now. Hopefully now I've finally gotten it. It's like, this is what we want to make. And people have said in the past that, like, I just want to listen to you, and like, it's easy talking to you, or like, the way that you talk is, I don't know the right word to use, but it's enthralling. That's not exactly that's not the exact word I want to be using, but the way that I would speak, and me trying to speak to individuals and speak to people, like, I try to be so genuine and I try to be so honest that, like, it's a real heart to heart, that it's like, I think it's hard for people to not kind of get pulled into it. It's hard not to gravitate towards it, and I hope people enjoy that, and I hope people care about that, but I don't know. I really don't. But so there's all these fears that are preventing me from doing this thing that I want to do for such a long period of time now, which hopefully I can actually, hopefully this is that point. Hopefully this is that point in which this is going to be the starting point in which we get this shit done. But who's to say? Either way, I appreciate anyone who may have listened to my dumbass this whole time. And hopefully somebody found this interesting. I doubt it, but hopefully that's the case. And here's where I will be the least genuine with you as an audience, is an outro, because I've streamed on Twitch for years, and there was a time being where I gave the same outro consistently for for a long time, actually. I'm kind of surprised, because it's not a simple outro and it's not short, but I got it to the point where I remembered it relatively frequently. I would mix it up a little bit, but that outro being this: I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you having watched, wherever you may be in the world. I already fucked it up, by the way. This is not actually what it was. Let me try that again. And Hope to talk to you again soon, and I appreciate you watching wherever you may be in the world, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night. Yeah, see, I fucked it up, and that's when I fucked it. Okay, this is it for real. Now I remember it. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever the case may be, depending upon where you are in the world. And until next time, I appreciate you being here. If you have anything that you may disagree with me on, or whatever the case may be, or agree upon, please do feel free to let me know through whatever means you want to let me know. No big deal. I will try to get back to you. I really will. I promise. Unless it's trolly. Maybe I won't get back to it if it's trolly. I'll try to get back to it if it's trolly, but sometimes that shit may actively piss me off. That's the way it is. I don't know. And I hope to talk to you again soon. I really do. But until then, peace out. That would be the outro. That is the least genuine part of anything that I would do here, hopefully, is an outro. Because that's just, I don't know, like that seems like the most natural way to end these things, is giving a kind of fake outro, because like I don't know how to end these conversations. Like I'm still going now, not because the outro didn't do the job well enough. It's because like I find like it's very hard for me to end conversations. If somebody does not break me off in terms of say, okay, all right, I'll talk to you later, or says something to get me to stop talking, I will legitimately sit there and continue to talk to people about random subjects that they may have zero to little interest in, because I don't know how to stop sometimes, and that's a legitimate problem that I've been working on. And that's why I'm going to try to end it here. I appreciate you having potentially watched all the way through this. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, whatever the case may be, depending upon where you are in the world, or whatever time you may be listening to this. And I hope to talk to you again soon, and I truly do appreciate you having been here. But until then, peace out.